Good evening and welcome to Bits and Pieces. Barbie and I think we've found what makes the dolphins jump out of the water. When we were walking past filled with swimming baths, we saw this magic potion for sale. Luma, the anti-rheumatic compound. It says sprinkle in your bath water and soak for 20 minutes. If you're in a bad way, massage the affected parts. And if you don't spring out of the bath water after this, you can get your money back, 6p. Now to introduce something a bit different to our programme, a house exchange. Mr Barry of 53 Bideford Crescent would like to exchange his non-parlour type house for a parlour type. He said anywhere out of Knowle West would be considered. The house is fitted with carpets and super louvre doors, a stone brick fireplace, a fitted dishwasher and telephone. And Mr Barry said he will leave everything as it stands for a suitable exchange. The address again is Mr Barry, 53 Bideford Crescent, and it's a house in really good condition.
And now some houses being built. The housing development at Ince Court is now well underway. Plans and drawings showing how the houses at Ince Court will look when the building work is finished will be on display at a public exhibition to be held at Holy Cross Church Hall, Ince Court Green, on Thursday evening, November the 14th, from 7:30 until 9:30, and Friday evening, November the 15th, from 7:30 until 9:30. For any of you who are hoping to move into these houses, this will be a good opportunity to get an idea of what it will be like.
Even though we're not Broadmead, just Knowle West, it didn't stop Father Christmas arriving here just as early. He was in the shape of Mr Medway of Creswick Road, and his Father Christmas he was at Holy Cross Church last Friday afternoon. Here he is with Julie and Philip Fernwall of Chepstow Road, who was his first customers. The voluntary helpers in playgroup mums of the church done a grand job, keeping up a day of activities which included the Christmas bazaar, cooked lunches and a steady flow of coffee and snacks. But the climax was Father Christmas, and the queue of children was never ending. Well done, Holy Cross.
And Merrywood Girls' School, Downton Road, are holding their annual Christmas fair next Saturday, November the 23rd, from 2 to 4 p.m. There will be lots of things to interest all ages, including stalls, sideshows, lucky dip, cards, decorations, fairy grotto, and of course, Father Christmas. There's also a children's room where you can leave your children to be looked after while you enjoy the fair. Admission programme is 5p, and this will have a lucky number on it, so you might even win a prize with your entrance ticket.
There was big beams of smiles radiating from Broad Plains Boys Club last Friday. 52 members and friends were off to Benidorm for 8 days of sunshine or rain. They didn't seem to care. The cost was round about £45, and the trip was organised by Roger Savage of Cavan Walk. There was a honeymoon couple amongst them somewhere. This is the third trip to Spain for the club. Roger told us last year they won the Spanish fellas at football 1-0, and this year they are returning to accept the challenge of winning them at a bullfight. A wet note. Just as they were about to leave for Heathrow, a phone call. The plane would be an hour late taking off. There were sighs and smiles and smiles and smiles. This would mean an extra hour stuck in the pub. I mean, they're so obvious, aren't they, Bar?
Anything for an extra hour in the pub. The Royal Antediluvian Order of the Buffaloes, or Buffs for short, are holding their annual dance at Novers Park Community Centre this Saturday, November the 16th. Music will be played by the Raymond Trio, and there's plenty of lovely prizes to be won in the raffle. Tickets cost 40p, and this includes buffet. Anyone wanting tickets can get them from Lil White at the Bond Shop, Leinster Avenue. And later on this evening, Wednesday, November the 13th at 8 o'clock at Novers Park, Jekka of Bristol Channel fame will be at Novers Park Community Centre to show some of the films made by the Knowle West Television Workshop. Anyone is welcome to come along, so if you've nothing special to do tonight, why not come up and see us?
Every Friday evening, 7:30 to 9:30, Philwood Boys Club are doing a marvellous job of keeping 200 to 250 children happy and well under control, and just for 10 pence. Their ages are anything from 3 to 16, and the thing is a disco night. The local disc jockeys are Chris Mead and Dave Batchelor, and they really keep the pace moving. Fred Haskins and Dave Davey, the club leaders, said the secret of the continued success of the disco night is the very strict supervision of 5 adults permanently walking around. On Friday, the 15th of November, there's a jumbo sale at Christ the King's School at 7 p.m. And I always think the jumbos are best in the evenings because it gives us the opportunity to go, don't it, Bar, and have a look.
Get ourselves a nice dress for Christmas. The Us Group dancing class at the Philwood Social Centre has become so popular that Mrs Winston has now started another evening class at the centre. Monday night from 6:30 until 8 p.m. will be for ballet and musical comedy, and Tuesday night from 6 till 9 p.m. will be concentrating on tap dancing and comedy shows. Anyone can join from the age of 5 upwards. There is already a couple of mums who join in on Monday nights, and Mrs Winston would be pleased if some more ladies would join in with her class. Why not come up and give it a try?
A wedding a bit different. At the registry office last Thursday, Elsie May Pearson married Robert Leonard of 20 Broadbury Road. Elsie is 62 and Robert 65. They are the second couple to meet and marry from Ruthven Road Elderly People's Club. Robert Leonard is chairman of the club, and he first met Elsie about 2.5 years ago when the club first opened. Then he lost sight of her for a couple of years, often wondering what had happened. Then a few months ago, Elsie returned to Bristol. They met again and married within a couple of months of courting. Elsie told us the first night they met, Robert asked her back to his place. Naughty, naughty, but oh, to be so lucky. Can't wait till we're 65, Bar.
Yeah, have another try. Several times lately, St Barnabas Boys Club has been broken into. A lot of damage has been done to the building, and table tennis and billiard equipment. Also, food from the canteen has been stolen. A couple of weeks ago, the club suggested having a jumbo sale to raise some money for new equipment, and the club leader said, yes, if you would like to organise it yourself, and that's just what they did. For a week, the boys went around collecting clothes, etc. for their sale and posting leaflets through local letterboxes. The jumbo sale was held on November the 1st, and £20.50 was raised. And a sad note to end the story, even though things were sold very cheaply, a lot of clothes, especially baby clothes, were stolen from adults. And now, some more bits and pieces from Kevin and Tim of Merrywood Boys School.
The Friends of Merrywood is an association of parents and others interested in Merrywood Boys School, Knowle. Their last event, an Halloween dance, was a tremendous success, every ticket being sold and nearly 300 people back in the hall and nearby areas. Over £100 was made. This sum has been given to the school to buy books for the library. Every group in the school is being asked to suggest titles of books or subjects on which we might obtain books. Plans are also underway to build a garage for the minibus, using much of the money raised at the summer fair. The next event in the Friends programme is a wine and cheese party on Friday, December 13th. Suggestions for future activities include a whisk drive, barbecue, fashion show, music all night, and a trance buffet, as well as another summer fair.
The school band. One of the most flourishing activities outside the school's normal timetable is the school band. Of course, music plays a large and healthy part in the school's normal curriculum, and there are many gifted musicians among our boys. But the band is formed and practices during the boys' spare time. The advantages and intentions of a band within a school are fairly obvious. Anyone who has an interest in music, either as a performer or audience, can find an outlet in the band. All the young musicians in the school are encouraged to form a part of the band. The repertoire of the band is varied and interesting. The occasional pop music tune is mixed effectively with lively marches admirably suited to the wind instruments of the band. Of course, selections from great composers are also included. This music is rehearsed thoroughly by the members each Thursday and Friday lunchtime. This is part of their preparation for actual performance. These performances are featured in about 3 concerts per year. They also play each Monday morning in house assembly, taking each house in turn by rotation. This practice provides the admirable opportunity for the band to play for an audience and for the audience to respond to the band. The band is ambitious and has plans for the future. The conductor, Mr. Aston, is always looking far ahead. He hopes boys lower down the school will be encouraged to take up an instrument and endeavour to play for the band. New members are always welcome. The more who are interested, the better. There is also the possibility that the band may be expanded by joining up with the band from the girls' school, an interesting prospect.
Merwood Boys' School have quite a range of activities which take place in and out of school. Amongst them, and perhaps the best of them all, is the art room activity. Here boys can draw, paint, make pottery and thoroughly enjoy themselves. Mr. Paul Needles, the teacher who runs the activity, and who is also head of the art department, stresses that boys may do anything within reason and within the art department's scope. For example, some boys may be painting, drawing, or making things with wood in either of the 3 art rooms with Mr. Needles, Mrs. Gower, or Mr. Jeffrey. Other teachers will give up their own time for us, while in the other room a pottery session is going on with Mrs. Revenall. The only difference between a proper lesson and these dinner hour after school classes is that the number is somewhat less. Boys are under no obligation to come. They come whenever they please and go whenever they please. Painting is one of the activities. If the boy wishes to copy a picture perhaps, then there are always magazines around for him to use. The paintings are also on the side bench. Everything is free and easy, and Mr. Needles is always coming round, giving a helping hand and helpful advice. As well as the pottery, drawing, painting, carpentry and lino cutting, trips may be arranged occasionally to art schools and exhibitions.
School soccer. At the moment, during this term until Christmas, the main sport in school is rugby. However, many other sporting activities are in progress, which will continue right through the long English winter months of this and next term. Soccer is flourishing at school, and interest is being maintained by the school under-19 team. This team started the year with the exciting prospect of 2 competitions in which to take part. The English individual schools knockout competition was one of these. Unfortunately, our run has been abruptly ended, as it must be in a competition of this sort. After winning 4-2 in a good skillful game against Brislington, Marywood went on to victory in a closely fought game against Chipping Sodbury, winning by the odd goal in 3. However, we were convincingly defeated 7-3 by Henbury School and are now forced to wait for another year before renewing our attempt. The second competition is on a league basis. This does not begin until the soccer season for the school, which is after Christmas. Many city and county honours have been bestowed on various boys. Knowle, Oxenham and Pring have represented Gloucester boys, and these 3 are joined by Adams and Lake in the Bristol team. However, these players have flourished as much because of their support of the rest of the team and by their own undoubted ability. Our thanks to Mr. Bell, who runs the team. Basketball. Basketball is a game growing in interest and popularity throughout the school. We begin with the senior team, who have been highly successful during the last season, winning 10 and losing only 4, including a win by 43 points to 37 in a closely fought contest against the staff, and a loss of 59 to 58 points also against the staff. This season they have played 3 games, winning 1 against St Bernadette's but losing 2 against Chipping Sodbury and Brislington. Once again, the bulk of the scoring has been done this season, as last, by Hill and Price. Badminton. For the first time this year, a badminton team has been formed to play fixtures on a regular basis between ourselves and other schools. So far, only 1 game has been played, in which we were successful against Brislington. There are promising signs that the competition is gathering momentum and generating throughout the school. Good night.
Good night.
Well, thank you, Kevin and Tim, and good night.
Good night.
I'm a